Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Galactic Seabass Podcast. This is episode number 103, I believe. I should double check that. Yes, this is the 103rd episode of the Galactic Seabass channel. My name is Sebastian, aka Seabass, your host, now, forever, and always. We start off this show with some music. I play my little kazoo, and, I kind of start off the episode. It's usually super bright and sunshiny. Today is going to be a little different. I think right off the bat we should just say it. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. I've been grieving all week, finding myself weeping the oddest of times, and I never knew the guy. He wasn't a relative or just a guy who loved free speech, and he loved it so much they took his life. Now, this is going to be a squirrely episode. I want to give my condolences to his family and his children. Did other things happen this week in America and around the world? Yes. There was a shooting in Colorado. There was a throw of the government in Nepal. They had a vote via Discord, which is crazy. The world is in utter chaos right now, and I've decided that if I have this platform, I'm going to utilize it for the truth, whatever that means. So, I've never considered myself a political commentator. I am not the most intelligent when it comes to foreign relations. As a guy, and I love America. I really do. I love this country since I was a little kid. I was born here. I hope to die here. And I witnessed the death of one of the first American martyrs. That's pretty crazy. Besides the Revolutionary War, there's not it's dying in the name of Jesus nowadays. I mean, I don't even know. It's just been such a whirlwind of a week. I haven't done a podcast in a month. It's the longest period I've taken off from this endeavor. And, I love making YouTube videos. It's a really big part of my life. It's just been really tough to catch up with the financial security of my life. So, YouTube hasn't been at the top of the have-to-do list. And I'd like it to be making videos, and I love making content and hanging out with you guys and spending time on what's supposed to be a Thursday, but it's Sunday. It is Sunday, September 14th. A whirlwind, and I can only imagine, what some of the other people around the world are going through. I know that I've had mine, and everybody's got problems. It's just been, it's been a whole bunch. I've had some good stuff happen too. We'll get into all this. We have plenty of time to hang out and kick back. That is our first plane going up over, so I know Charlie wouldn't be stoked, but cheers, everybody. I just can't believe it. It's unbelievable. I mean, we witnessed a public execution, which is not something that we see a lot of on, the west side of the front. I mean, obviously there's an incredible information coming out of the Middle East, from Palestine, from Gaza. I've seen so many videos on my algorithm today of just the most deplorable scenes I've ever in my life. I've heard stories of kids getting sniped and just absolutely butcherous Geneva Convention breaking events. That it's just like, what is going on over there? So you have the United States' role in all of this, and I see we have no business over there, except for liberating people that are under just the eyes of a genocide. It's actually crazy what's going on. I feel like I'm waking up to you know, something different, something strange, you know, like, I've been conditioned I was a child to believe one thing, and now it's just like everything that I've ever learned the truth, or has it just been like the manipulation of our history? I don't. All I know is that I'm here for it. I love this country, and to see what's going on around the world, all the millions of people gathering for Charlie, you know, you silence one, you wake up 1,000 others, and in this case, he woke up a lot of people. He was of reason, and a man driven by faith, a man of conviction, who loved his family, and I can't believe it. I've been doing been doing a little tinfoil research, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's hard to even, like, understand what's really going on. I've had so many personal issues, and it just seems like none of them matter compared to everything that's going on right now. We have to fight for our freedoms more than ever. This is warfare. So you have to be ready to fight the good fight. And I don't know. I just feel this like spiritual awakening. You know, it was just, why does his death have such an impact on so many people? Didn't know everybody. But he gave everything he had in his life in what he believed to be the truth. And that's a love in Christ and a free America. So I can only ponder. Rest in peace, dude. I wrote a poem and I keep trying to get through it on camera, and it's really been just tough to recite. So I'm going to try to maybe figure that out later. And I'm sorry if my Wi-Fi is glitchy. Doing this isn't a major operation, but I am stoked I'm back. You know, it's been a month. Sorry I took a little break, but it's good to be back with you guys. This actually is episode 104. I took so long I actually messed up the name of it. So this again is the 104th episode of the Galactic Seabass with your host Venmo Fowler. Excuse me, aka Seabass. That's me. And we're going to talk about a whole thing. So why don't we just go ahead and dive on into it. Now, when I first made this podcast, I had no real plan. I just sort of was going with the flow. I talked about what's going on in the week, or what's going on, the movies I saw, blah, 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 a friend over. So I'm not really sure what the drive of this podcast is, but I think we're going to figure out that niche and sort of level it down here in a few weeks or months or whatever time period that kind of unfolds. The last episode I did, I was talking about how I was going to go drum at Comic-Con, and I did. I shaved my beard, I was the Joker, it was super fun. Didn't make as much cash as I did last year, but it was fun to dress up as a, you know, cartoon supervillain and go play drums for unsuspecting humans. That was definitely a lovely little, you know, way to pass a Saturday. So it's been about 3 or 4 weeks since then, and I've played drums every weekend. I love playing drums, I love playing music, and the other day I had to pawn my drum set. So I'll be able to get it back as soon as I can get my hands on $950, because I took this new job. Been working for this guy full time, building skateboard ramps, and I'm not going to drop the name of his company. He hasn't paid me. I'm just waiting for payment, so I had to do whatever I had to do to make sure I could pay these bills. And you know, I did what I had to do. So I can still get them back. It's just going to be a little bit of a mission. I got to put in the work, so if anybody wants to help support, there's a few options too down below in the description. And I appreciate all the support you guys have given me. Last almost decade. Next year will be 10 years of YouTubing, which is crazy. So, yeah, I'm just grateful. I got to play so many songs this summer, and I met so many cool people, and so many people danced and just music, and I got to progress as a musician, so I'm grateful. And now I get to take a little bit of a break and sort of focus on the other aspects of, my life. And it's not financially viable to comes on the street every day for the rest of my life. But it was fun, and it was cool. You made money with rock and roll, so can't go wrong with that. And I'm very grateful. So if anybody wants to help me get the kit back, that would be super cool. I love you guys. And I love drum rock and roll. So put another dime in the jukebox, baby. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, we did a whole bunch of things. Alright, so we've had a lot go down. Let me just give you like a quick little backstory. So in 2013, I was living in South Dakota for about 8 months, and it was awful. Didn't like it. I'm from Connecticut. It's very different. So I got a job at Woodward West. It didn't pay any money. It was a 35-hour drive. I'd never been to California. I didn't know anybody. But you know what? I was like, screw it. Let's go. And I had plans of looking back. So I threw my bike in the car, said goodbye to my mom and my little brother, and I drove to California. I took this job at Camp Woodward. Woodward West, to be specific. And I worked there for 6 weeks until I followed my roommates from Tehachapi back down to San Diego. 12 years later, I still live here. I'm doing stand-up comedy. I'm thinking, how do I grow as a comedian? Well, I could do a tour by bicycle. So I'm the first guy to ride a BMX bike from San Diego to New York City, aka the continental United States, making me the first guy to do so. Rock and roll. In the middle of it, I decide, you know what? I'm going to go for Kill Tony. I get on the show. Turns out to be the one Netflix episode they've filmed thus far. Insane. Who watches that? Rick Thorne, the dude who was in American Wasteland. Tony Hawk's American Wasteland, one of my favorite games growing up, and the best BMX game debatably of all time. So, he invites me to do his podcast. After the podcast, he invites me to do a comedy show. A comedy show where, you might ask? At Woodward West, where it all began 12 years ago. A full Chinese site. And it's like, wow, that's actually insane. What happened 3 weeks after the comedy show? Woodward West announcing it's going to close its doors forever. So I got to get a session in right before the comedy show, and that was probably the last time I'm going to ride Woodward West. A place where I was having a conversation with a colleague of mine, and he was referring to those summers as our college. And I thought, holy cow, yeah, like I was 19, 20, 21. I mean, I didn't go to college, so that's how I kind of like engaged in these, social rituals to grow as a person and change my life, man. I mean, I don't even know. It's hard to contemplate. So, Woodward West, thank you for everything. Thank you, Sean Dorton and Jake Kinney, Dustin Oram. I love you guys, and I'll never forget you. Pam Velasquez, Richie. Richie wasn't as nice to me, but I mean, he still was a cool dude. And they offered so many people such an amazing place to go progress their talents, including myself. So I'm grateful, and I want to say thank you. And I just can't believe it. It's been an incredible ride. And I don't know, man. So that definitely got me. Feels a little bit. I was pretty sad to know that Woodward West will never, invite me back to work there for a summer. You can go to East. You can still go to Pennsylvania. Like, I saw the PA location on my trip, but I haven't been. It was like 12, so that was sick. But I mean, Woodward West was just like, wow. It's really hard to contemplate like that not being a thing anymore. So yeah, I don't know. It's been heavy. Wow, so much has happened since I did my last episode. Oh my gosh. After that show, I was going to do Uber like I do every day, and I got a call from my buddy. He said he needed help building these skateboard ramps over at this guy's location. So, I was like, okay. I ended up working for 15 hours for this guy. And it was like, whoa. And at the end of it, I gave him a ride to the airport at like 5 in the morning. So I worked really hard, and he paid me out. And then the guy who I was working with, the guy he was working for, he took me on for this new job at a warehouse, and it was super cool, and I was learning and growing. And I was about to go to work, and the guy who I was working with on the ramps, this guy calls me over, or he calls me in the morning all weird, kind of just like, hey, can I talk to you? Like, yeah, sure, what's up? He says, I can't talk on the phone, you gotta come over. I'm like, oh, that's weird. So, go over there, and he basically just says, like, hey, do you want to be the vice president of my company? And I thought, what? What are you talking about, man? I've worked like 2 shifts. And he basically just says, I'll give you 25 an hour versus the 20 I was making. And then in 2 weeks, when you learn everything, it'll be 30 an hour. And you build these ramps together, and it'll be all peachy keen. I was like, oh, like, that's a great deal. I got to talk to my other boss, but yeah. And he's like, we can get to work right now. And I'm thinking, so, okay, I'm sure my other boss would understand. And I go to work with this guy, do it like 1 day, 2 days worth of work, and I'm just like thinking, like, I haven't talked to my other boss yet. This is not good. I gotta go like communicate. So I do, and I don't hear from the guy I'm working with who just, you know, offered me this position at 25 for like 3 days. And so then finally 4 days later, I talked to him, and he's like, you quit? I'm like, I didn't quit. I was just trying to make sure like everything's cool, man. Like, you obviously work with that other guy, so I'm trying to keep everything chill. And I ended up probably like another 2 weeks worth of work with this guy, with the ramp, and he just straight up doesn't pay me, man. Like, I think at one point he gave me $50, and I thought that was a per diem, but it was the payment, and it was just like, dude, this is not enough to survive. I have rent coming up, I have bills due now, and he just never seemed to grasp that. And my buddy working for him that got me into this whole circle, he was ripping him off too. So he's still, like, both still not paid as of today. And I got $1,300 sitting in the bank with this guy. So that was devastating. I just never seemed to understand the predicament. You know, like, my rental company doesn't care, you know, that you don't have a system lined up. They need their money now. So I had to pawn my drum set and just try to, like, do whatever I could to, you know. And I'm very grateful to have a home up above my head. And, you know, I got over 2 weeks until September's over, so I can work really hard and try to make some money. And if that guy pays me back, then awesome. Then I'll have that towards rent and bills, fix my life, you know, like, be a good person. And, you know, I want to be a provider and be a good man, you know, grow up, kind of. So, you know, Charlie's death definitely hit me. It's just, I was looking at the way I live my life, and it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm true, like deserving of certain, you know, fruits. It's just like the way that I treat myself, my body, my life, and it's just, you gotta take care. And, you know, I gotta get back in touch with my spirituality, and just been kind of like stuck in the zone of like, how do I pay the rent? And just like, you know, succumbing to the easiest, you know, vices to come across, you know, like smoking and drinking and wasting time, being gluttonous, just all those things. It's like, you gotta grow up, man. So it's a great example of somebody to, you know, live your life by. And I've looked up to it for a long time. Like, where was him providing, you know, commentary that would actually, like, provide a guiding path to follow, in order to, like, be a better version of yourself. Or if it was just a 2-hour compilation of Charlie Kirk destroying libs, like, those are fun to watch when you're cleaning the house. You just throw it on, you just hear these people saying this wild rhetoric, and he just comes back with logic, and it's pretty fun. And to know that there's people out there celebrating the death of a man. I don't care what your political ideology is. I don't care what side you stand on, if you're left or right or centrist or libertarian. I don't care. Like, a human being was murdered for what they believe in front of their family, on TV. If you don't think that's wrong, you're sick, you need help, and you can gladly get off my page. No one's asked. I will not be in any way hurt by the lack of your presence. Yeah, this is a battle of spirituality, of morality. I mean, I don't know, man. There's some kind of agenda at play, and I would like to know more about what's actually happening. I mean, my algorithm's been pushing me in a very agenda. I mean, we'll get into that at the point. I need my tinfoil hat before we go ahead and dive into those things. The good news is later on we are going to have lots of movie reviews. So you hang in there for that if you want some nice, fun, friendly commentary from your old pal Seabass. Yeah, that's still, it's been at the forefront of my thoughts almost every day. So, and that just, it brings up a point. I saw a post from a fellow local quote-unquote comedian. He said, it wasn't like he even said anything. He typed something out and took a screenshot and posted it as a reel. And it said, I thought a Puth was killed. Thank goodness. Or thing along those lines. And this is like 24 hours after like he got shot. So, you know, I commented, hey, this guy was just murdered in front of his wife and family less than 24 hours ago. It's not too late to delete this post. And then he replied with, Charlie Puth is well. It's not too late to be a comedian. And I just was kind of baffled at what I was witnessing. Now, I'm all for jokes. I'm all light of dark situations. Now, first of all, that had no punchline. It's TikTok comedy at best. It's just like a... Who fucking cares about Charlie now? You know, it really bothered me. And so, I've definitely taken some time off from the comedy circuit due to the financial obligations that I'm, held to follow through on. And seeing that and knowing that guy has his own, like a prominent member of like the comedy community of San Diego, it's really run by like the biggest fucking douchebags in the whole country. I'm sure there's probably mean people everywhere. It is so obnoxious, some of the way these people are going about running their business. And I'm not going to say that every single person who puts a comedy show in San Diego is a fucking piece of shit, but most of them really are. And maybe it's just the ones that I find myself like in the proximity of. It's just very bothersome to that these are the people who hold the reins on your career. There's a saying in comedy, it goes, whatever city you start out in, you'll always be looked at open micer. And that definitely has a certain way of presenting itself in the daily existence because, no matter how long you stay around, you put years of work in, you get your craft, your jokes are good, you get laughs. These people around you, if they don't fuck with you, they'll always look at you as that guy who showed up one day who's like, this is my first set, which was years ago at this point now. And it's just unbelievable to me how it's so similar to a high school lunchroom where, you walk in, you got your tray, you look at all these different kind of cliques sitting in these little circles or semicircles, and you think, who do I fit with? And you go to sit down, and they just kind of like protect the seat from you sitting. So there's nowhere to sit. And if you can't sit with these people, you can't get booked on these shows. And if you don't get booked on the shows, then you don't do big stuff in your hometown scene. So it's just like frustrating, you know. So really, the only way to get around it is to make your own show, and then just have that be successful. So that's something that's definitely in the works now, because it's honestly almost to be an open micer in this scene. I do have a roast battle coming up on Wednesday, which I have not prepared for at all, so I might bomb. Whatever. I'm not even really sure who I'm going up against, because it says on the paper I'm going up against this guy Wes, and then I guess it's going to be Jacob, who's this white dude, so I'm just going to write a whole bunch of jokes that can be used either way. Anyway, yeah, it's just like I've got a lot of internal beef with this scene. I love comedy. I love jokes. I love making people laugh. It's one of the greatest joys in the whole world. Just the people who you have to get through to do it. And maybe it's in other scenes too, but definitely I feel it because I live here. And these people suck. Like, I was doing a photo gig for a comedy show over at the Ellador. I love Marty. I love Brody. And I was shooting for a comedian. I won't say his name, but he's one of those fucking douchebags. And I'm trying to take my photos. You know, you don't usually bring to my existence. I'm trying to be kind of sneaky in the audience. And never has this ever happened. He's like, hey, what's up, photo guy? And flips me off for the camera. And then as I'm like walking away, because it's obviously like, I don't want to be the center right now. You're the one on stage. Maybe tell a fucking joke. Hey, everybody, flip off the photographer guy. Yeah, it didn't really come out as a good image. Felt kind of rude. Like, hey, maybe you just kind of suck at comedy. But this is a guy who like holds. He's the booker of the place where I started, and it's like I will never get through those doors again. Because I did a photo shoot for him and a few other individuals. They didn't fucking pay me, and then, you know, they just went on blast about how like I was wrong, and I said some obnoxious things to those people. I told one of them, I hope he gets hit by a drunk driver. Like, I hope his offspring are all fucked up, or like whatever I said in those letters was not kind. And I wrote a letter to apologize to him. And do you know how many fucking people have come up to me and they're like, hey, oh, write me a letter about it, you fucking faggot. And it's like, wow, even when I had to be genuinely apologetic about my actions, they still used it to be like, wow, look at this loser who wrote me a letter. What, you want to suck my dick? It's just like, how old are you, 16? Bunch of cunts, man. It's honestly unbelievable. So, sick of it, but I stick around. You gotta persevere, because I'm pretty sure I'm funny. And all these people have is comedy, like if that, and I've got comedy, BMX, YouTube, I make music, I make videos, I surf outside, like, dude, I'm chill. So, at the end of the day, it's fine, but there's a lot of really egotistical people with no actual statistics to stand on. It's just some kind of self-id ego. Like, dude, you run a hack level open mic in B-level comedy city. What are you talking about, dude? It's kind of crazy. And, yeah, I'm kind of crazy, but I don't really give a fuck. And I decided that a few weeks ago. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to fully cave into the fact that I'm mentally nuts. So I want to embrace my inner Jim Carrey and just be able to let out the demons. They feel like finding their way. I don't really know. I don't know why I went for the face. That wasn't exactly the face with the voice, but I was thinking Jim Carrey. Anyway, so that is my beef with the San Diego comedy scene. Oh, I heard that, you know, maybe I just stir up trouble wherever I go. I'm not even really sure what it is that I do, but I guess my presence just has a way of like self-known. Because here in Ocean Beach, I like to play my drums down by the water, so I do every Friday and Sunday. I tried to do it this past Wednesday, and I was harassed by these park rangers for a little bit. They told me I had to move from in front of the rock to 15 feet behind the rock, which made almost no difference in the placement. Just the fact they had power over me, and they're like, "Yeah, you should move 10 feet. Just move this entire drum set 10 feet." And I'm like, "Well, that's inconvenient." And they said, "Well, we don't really fucking care." So I found myself moved the kit, kept playing, and then I came over. They're like, "Hey, you can keep playing, but it's too loud." And I'm like, "What's a fucking drum set? What do you want me to do, man? Do you want me to turn down the acoustic volume and chop half my arm off so I can't play as rough?" I don't understand. There's so many people around me like doing their own version of, self-expression, whether it's music or art, just whatever. Like, dude, there's people dying of fentanyl in the alley, and I'm trying to tell them this. They literally are harassing me and other civilians when there's actual problems and he's like, "Well, I don't see anybody dying of fentanyl." I'm like, "That's because you're wasting your time talking to me. Go around and do something." And so I found out they've been talking about me at their local county meetings. I guess there's been community meetings, those ones where it's like, "Your time begins, ladies and gentlemen of the board." So I need to find out where these meetings take place and go, because I would like to speak my piece and speak on behalf of rock and roll. I believe it deserves its fair place in the room. And I won't be able to play drums for a while anyway, so now I can work on all my guitar songs and can keep letting my hatred for certain individuals. No, it's not Jesus. He'd want me to forgive. It's just really hard because they're dicks. Jesus dealt with some dicks. They had him on some sticks. That was sacrilegious for a Sunday, but it is true. He was crucified. And I just pulled out this rosary that I was gifted to by Ron over at the Frick Park Market in Pittsburgh. The original owner. He was 90 years old, and he gave me this Celtic rosary, and it's beautiful. I don't know, man. I'd do my poem right now. Yeah, screw it. I hope it doesn't lag. I know there's been some kind of lag in the audio sometimes. This is the poem that I wrote. I am so off, all over the place tonight, but this is the poem I wrote for Charlie Kirk, and I'm very stoked on it. So, here we go. I wrote this on September 12th. Conversation amongst the youth of a nation. We've seen this kind of thing before. When people unite despite creed nor relation, the floodgates open and prepare for war. A young man named Charlie had a brilliant ideas, and never once did his message fall upon deaf ears. He gave those who felt ostracized a chance to speak their truth and tell the world what things were like from their point of view. Charlie stood on conviction. He was a man who loved his God, a man who served the people, a man of action, not of thought. So the powers that be decided Charlie was a threat. And on that fateful day, a bullet burst into his neck. Social media claims images of violence aren't meant for us to see. Yet you and I both saw that video on our tiny little TVs. His wife and kids beside him, with panic in their eyes, a pain no one should ever endure, a fear you can't disguise. Charlie Kirk was killed in cold blood, and for what? I asked myself. Because he believed young Americans need better mental health? Or because the elites are hoarding all the wealth? Or the alphabet agents keep secrets on the shelf? Whatever the reason, a martyr has been slain, leaving behind a population in pain. I've seen people celebrate the death of a human being. When I was young, this is not what I imagined to be the American dream. JFK, Lincoln, and Martin Luther met fates quite familiar. To go against the status, somebody's got to kill you. They will try to instill that fear inside your heart. Don't let them take your freedoms away. Be true and do your part. They killed Charlie Kirk. They can't kill his spirit. Because when I look at the stripes and the stars, I can feel it. 2 mothers gave birth to baby boys in 1993. One of them was Charlie. The other firstborn was me. Big facts. I love that guy. So I'm going to record a better version of this poem. Post it because it's important and it's just been weighing so heavily on my mind. It's unbelievable. We are live here on Sunday, September 14th. We've all been through a lot this week, so I just want to say thank you for tuning in and watching this. I know there's lots of things you could be doing with your day, and I just appreciate you. Rad Dad BMX said, "Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk." Absolutely. Bless. And I don't know, man. I want to know what really happened. I don't want to have another JFK where we have to wait 70 years for what happened. You know, we live in the age of technology where there were hundreds of phones recording at that time. I saw a video today. I need my I don't want to use it for too long. I don't even know if I have tinfoil. I was gonna wear a little tinfoil hat. Basically, I saw a video of, we've all seen those two guys give the third base coach motions, does like the hat touch, and then the other guy rubs his shoulder, holds his elbow out, and then boom, try to get shot. Now I saw a video of a potential gunman on his right side, like, so from like where Charlie's sitting, it'd be to the right, pretty much almost directly and slightly back, because the bullet, it looks as if this is the exit wound where all the blood spurted out. So it would have come in this way from this side, gone through here, and then pop. And it almost looks, if you watch that guy do the baseball thing with the elbows, the guy in blue, not the guy in the white. The guy in the white starts it. The guy in the blue, he does this elbow thing, and then boom, you see this dude in this shirt lift a gun up, or, you know, obviously something, you see it fire, and then just, and then there goes Charlie, live on TV. It was fucked up. You know, yeah, like, I'm sick of this shit, dude. If I have a platform, I'm going to use it for truth, because it's ridiculous. There are way too many people that are way too pissed off about what happened. There was a 1 million person march in London. They are marching in Korea. We are marching all over this country. How many buildings have been burned down? Fucking zero. Because we are very different people than the intolerant left. It's unbelievable. You know, I find myself as a conservative in this liberal city of San Diego. It's very tough to deal with some of my neighbors at times, and it's just, you know, you have to have love for them and respect, but it doesn't seem like that it's a very two, like, I remember a long time ago on January 6th, not like my affiliation with everything in that day, hear me out. So there was that lady, right? Her name was Ashley Babbitt. Now, she got shot and killed. She lived here in Ocean Beach. Like, she was a local in this little town. And I remember that day thinking, like, oh my goodness, this lady was murdered. Now, I know it happens a lot. Like, police escalation has been to new heights throughout the years. But there are so many tactics that can be used beforehand. You have a stun gun, you have a baton. I mean, there's just so many different ways to handle that. It was an unarmed woman in in the middle of a window. He could have just like pushed her back, and it would have been fine. But he shot in the neck, and she died. And she really wasn't given any credit. And I remember my neighbors were like, "Well, she broke into the building. She deserved it." And it's like, whoa. So if you break into a building, they should be able to fucking kill you. That's kind of crazy, especially when it's a public common ground building. That was not the first demonstration over the last, you know, even 50 years. There was a. Ooh, I wonder if they shadow banned my episode. There was an armed invasion. The Black Panthers came through. Not like that they came and shot it up, but definitely like a bunch of Panthers came through with AK-47s or whatever kind of like, I don't know guns. They came through with guns and occupied the same building. And that happened again in 2008 with Nancy Pelosi Scouts. Like, an unarmed occupation of that building was not something that was unprecedented, but the level that it's been pushed to since that date makes it seem like we went in and, not we as if I was there, but it just makes it sound like all the individuals there were like butchering children. And it's like, no, that's actually happening in Gaza. That's what's going on right now over there. And it's despicable. So, like, who do we really work for? You know? Is America truly looking out for the best interest of Americans, or are we looking out for the best interest of Israel? Because over my research, like, the last couple days and a couple weeks, like, this, it just, like, none of this makes sense. I mean, you can go all the way back to 9/11. I really wanted some tinfoil for this hat, or for this episode. But it's not even like, how many conspiracy theories, quote unquote, over the last 20 years have been true? How many more will continue to do so over the next 50 years? I mean, how long does this pattern have to follow before we realize, the pattern itself? It just, we have no business being in the Middle East right now. There are so many problems on the American forefront. Whether it's our educational system, our homeless situation, our health crisis, our mental health epidemic. I mean, there are so things that we primarily need to focus on here in this country. And what are we doing right now? We are sending billions in aid to Ukraine, to Israel, to the UN, to NATO, to the WHO. Like, how does that help us at all? After what so many people did during the COVID epidemic, not too many people really found liable, and we're still facing those consequences today. Like, I mean, there's gotta be something with our mental health ever since being locked in our houses for a year, being stuck on our phones, subjugated to whatever was thrown in our algorithm. I mean, what is really happening? It's hard to know. Excuse me, but this is the age. I don't know. I feel like I'm breaking out of this system. Nothing makes sense anymore. The idea of ideological subversion. I never thought about myself being a victim in this, plot for the mind. But there's so many things I have questions about. And I've been indoctrinated since my primary school to believe certain aspects that this country is run. And not a lot of it is making sense, So I feel open to new ideas. And I want to hear what people have to say. And this is the age when free speech and truth matter more than ever. And they know that. And they killed the most level-headed, moderate guy out of all of those conservative commentators. Charlie was chill. You got, the ones that are going to come up after him are not going to be as easygoing and kind and respectful. It is going to be insane to see who takes that position next, because the fact he named it Turning Point, and with his death we find ourselves at the turning point of what it stands for to believe in freedom of speech, and to believe in nationalism, and to believe in God and Jesus, believe in your country. Those are at risk right now. They are willing to fucking kill you if you go and upset the status quo. So we need to be very careful right now, and we need to stay true and vigilant, keep our eyes open, and realize there are powers at play that fucking hate and the way that you live your life. They hate your God, they hate your children, and they will do anything to dismantle what we have worked so hard to build as a nation. Next year, America will be 250 years old. Will we fall at our quarter millennia, or will we stand together and rise and build something even greater than our founding forefathers predicted? You know, it's up to us. We either let them win and we sit back, or we stand up and we fight for what's right. So as long as I've got this platform, I'm going to use it for truth. And yeah, I just I love the things I do in my life, and I realize that there are things worth fighting for that are so much greater. And there are people who have sacrificed everything for me to be able to have these freedoms, to live here and to be able to do this right now. Taken generations of men fighting in the name of freedom. And lately I've had these thoughts, did all of these men truly fight for freedom? Or were some of them sent off in the field because of the plot of some old men who had financial reasons to go about this newfound warfare and, pay the price? That's a crazy thought, because until the creation of the federal, until the inception of the Federal Reserve in 1913, I believe it was, then there were no wars for profit. So you have the Titanic sink in 1912, which has some of the most outspoken, wealthiest in the country who were against the Federal Reserve. They all die, except for JP Morgan. The next year, the Fed is created. Then the next year, we have the First World War, where industry is now profiting. And war profiteering is a real thing. And today we find ourselves in this situation, whether it's Lockheed Martin or Halliburton. We have companies whose primary game is to build weaponry, sell it to both sides, ensure that conflict takes place, and pick up the pieces, do it again. I think America are the bullies, man. And maybe it's not us. I personally, if I was given the option, wouldn't be go to war. I think there are powers that be that are manipulating the strings of our highest levels of politics, our senators, our congresspeople, is our president? I don't know. There's only been one president in history who has refused to go to Israel, and they shot him in the head in a limo. So what's going on? That's just there's too many things at play, man. I'm not going to be silenced for acknowledging what's taking place around the world right now. It's incomprehensible to think that we, as a technological society, even participate in war anymore. It just seems so brutal, caveman level of I must attack. If we were working together as a world, we could be going to space, exploring the oceans, and figuring out new levels of ways to improve our lives here on this planet. And yet we find ourselves on the brink of World War III constantly. I mean, excuse me. Why? Who is making money from all this? Follow the money. Disband APEC. Hell yeah. What's up, dudes? Thank you guys. Appreciate everybody in the chat. I'm not even sure what's going on here, man. It's just, all I know is that two of the last things that Charlie questioned before he died, he was like, we need to release the Epstein files, and we need to in our relationship with Israel in our foreign relation policy. And then they went, and they shot him in the fucking neck because they were like, well, obviously that's going to shut everybody up. And guess what? It did the exact fucking opposite. Everyone's pissed the fuck off right now. And I don't know about anybody else, but I mean, with a little direction, which I guess, I don't know where that's going to, I don't know who's going to take the place. But right now, it's just like we can all turn to Jesus and just know that there is a spiritual warfare against God right now. And whether you believe in, Jesus or Judah or Muhammad or, the pink unicorn in the sky or the source or the universe or one or Allah, it doesn't matter. Because it's just, we are all one people of this world. There is no reason that we should be fighting or dropping fucking bombs on each other, let alone women and children. Go back to able-bodied men fighting with swords. That's at least badass to go to Valhalla. This bomb gun shit is bitch made. Absolute puss level. Because it's like, what are you doing, man? You're just clicking buttons like Call of Duty and killing real people. Go fight a man, you fucking nerd. I don't know. It bothers me. So, if you have a problem with another country, you should just go, like, I think presidents should just fight. Like, there should be, like, a fight club where if you want to run for president, you also have to be able to, like, fight to the death in an arena, one-on-one, against the leader of other countries. And if you win, you get that fucking country. That's how the world's going to work. I don't know. Probably not, but it just seems like, why waste millions of young men? What are you doing? These are young future doctors and lawyers and firemen and policemen and handy, and they have families and they have their brothers and husbands and uncles and nephews, and you just fucking blowing them up, man. Like, and then all these fucking kids, you're like, you think these kids grow up and be just die hard fuck America, like, to know that we are supporting this war, and then, like, we give these bombs to this place and then they drop the bombs on that place? You think they're fucking stupid? Like, they know that we're a part of this, and they're gonna grow up with this intense hatred for America. And it's like, you don't think you're growing like a bazillion Osama bin Ladens right now? Like, whether, first of all, Osama bin Laden, like, worked with the FBI back in the fucking 80s. That's a fact. So, like, let's just go ahead and skip that. Go do your research. Like, they're growing insurgents inside these pockets of the Middle East. All these young children who are watching their families explode before their very eyes. They will never forget. Just the way, like, we never forgot 9/11. It's just, it's unprecedented. It feels wrong to even think I'm gonna do, like, movie reviews in a minute. Like, what the, who fucking, there's madness at foot right now. And we have to be vigilant and know who the true enemy is. Because it's not children. Any kid anywhere is responsible for anything wrong, ever. This is done by knowing adults. Sick people. And I think I'm finally getting it. Like, this is, I don't know, man. I don't know what to do about all this. I'm just a guy. So I'm just trying to stay vigilant and still and pray and just, I don't know. I just want to light a candle. Just like, I don't know what else to do. So I'm going to do that. I love Charlie. Can't believe he's really gone, man. Like, that was the first martyr of my lifetime. When his blood touched the soil, the world woke up. And it was like, whoa. This is not acceptable. There's people out there that are willing to, like, if you want to disagree with somebody, that's fine. You have every right to do that. When you want to kill somebody because they don't agree with whatever point of view you have, you're evil. You're Satan. And he was quoted as saying, when asked, how do you wish to be remembered? And he said, I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. So he died, you know, and now he gets to sit at the gates of heaven and look down and just, you know, or wherever, like, whatever metaphysical place that is, to know that they know what he did. They know he worked hard to be true. So, I mean, he will not be forgotten. He will always be remembered. I mean, where's this thing? I'm over it. I'll never forget him for the rest of my life. And if that Turning Point USA thing has another, like, thing in San Diego, I will be there. I will be supporting. And I don't know, man. This is unbelievable. I'm angry. I'm fucking angry, man. This guy was like, I love Jesus and my kids and free speech. And they shot him in the fucking head. Like, Jay, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, John Lennon. John Lennon's a little different, but still, like, people, anybody that's like, hey, we should be peaceful and come together and see through our differences, they fucking kill you. What, is this truly the land of the free? It's unbelievable, man. When I was a kid, I had such high hopes for this nation. I always thought it was the best place in the whole world. We're number one. We love everybody. We don't do anything wrong. Turns out we've done a lot of bad things to a lot of people. I know that I personally haven't done that, but, like, as a collective nation, like, we fucked some shit up. We toppled empires. We brought down civilizations. It's actually unfathomable. And so many lies have been told, and then the truth has come forth decades later. So what other lies are we currently living in the face of that one day will be illuminated with the truth? You know, that's why you have to just question everything. You can't believe anything you see anymore. The mainstream media is done. It's a wrap. That one commentator who said when Charlie died, well, you can only wonder if this was a gun going off in celebration. Like, what is wrong with you, man? What? I think we're all just a bunch of gun-toting like Yosemite Sam. It's just like, I don't. Why don't you ever see mass murder at gun show? What a stupid analogy. And, you know, the ironic part is they fired him for that. Just free speech, man. Free speech is what got Charlie killed, which is what got that fucking idiot to say that. And that's why free speech is important, because you're allowed to say whatever you want. But if you say some dumb shit, then you're allowed to be like, hey, that was some dumb fucking shit, and you're an idiot. And you're both allowed to say those things. But once you someone's ability to speak, then, you know, a certain group will get to decide what is acceptable. And then you lost control of language. And you've lost, you know, almost everything. So, without language, it's impossible to have freedom. I mean, just, I don't know. That's a crazy thought. This is just, my mind's been so overwhelmed with this death. I didn't know this guy, but he felt like my friend. Like he believed in me. And I just can't believe he's gone. Rest in peace, Charlie. I can't believe it. It's ridiculous. That's pretty much. Excuse me. Some water. I don't know. Yeah, this is. I haven't done a podcast in a month. It's been a whirlwind. I got a job. I got a second job. That job screwed me over. I don't know if I have the first job. I drummed a lot. I had to pawn my drum set. I had my drum set back. If anybody wants to help get it back, there's links in the description to help. Thank you. And every week I wanted to make a podcast, and I was just overwhelmed and never did it. So today I was just thinking about all this, and I was supposed to do it Thursday. And I thought, you know what? Well, it's better late than never. And I want to be able to use this platform. I've got thousands of people on YouTube and almost 20,000 on Instagram. I could use that for good to help people. So, other good news, I got my first bike for the kids, which is sick. I got my first BMX bike for the kiddos, which is awesome. So I'll be giving that away to some youngster. And I don't know when or where, but that'll be cool. So that's good. New bike for the kids. Got the rock and roll. And I want to thank everybody who supported my journey I want to thank everyone who supported my journey of BMX across America. I'm very grateful to be back home and be alive and be safe, and you know, it feels good. So I'm working on it one day at a time. I'm broke as a motherfucker, but I'm working on it. So I just want to thank you for your support. If you want a Venmo or a Cashapp, that'd be lit. And I appreciate you very much. I will get control of my life one day. Is that day today? No. We're working on it. Oh, it's hard. It's been, you know, the smiles that have come few and far between this weekend have been delightful. It's nice to know, like, well, you know, it feels like I can still laugh a little bit. It's hard, but you got to do it. I know we're about an hour into this episode, and I've been talking a lot. I'm actually, like, I'm a little emotional. Probably gonna call it in a little bit, but I have literally like 20. I'm gonna go through them really fast. I used to play this game with my ex, where whenever I wanted to tell her about a movie that I saw, she would give me 30 seconds to describe the movie. Okay? 30 seconds. It might sound like a lot. It's really not, because I love being detailed in my movies and stuff. Okay, so we're going to run down. This is how we're going to do this movie review. I'm going to give every movie a 30-second synopsis and then give it a score. We're not going to get into details unless I really liked it or there's something I really have to bring up. See how much we stick to the plan here. Okay, number 1. The Super Mario Brothers movie. Chris Pratt and Charlie Day play Luigi. Jack Black plays Bowser. It's really fun. The way they interpret the gameplay into the movie itself as an old, true Super Mario 64 fan. The Super Nintendo Mario. They go through all those ages and cycles and give love to like the character and the story. And I really liked it. I truly enjoyed it. I would watch it again. 9 out of 10. Loved it. Movie 43. Old school. Super silly teenage movie of a older brothers messing with their younger brother. They convince him there's this movie on the internet. It's the craziest movie of all time. And then in the search to find that movie, they find a bunch of other super random films that actually are pretty silly. Like with the cast, I don't know how they book these people. It's fun. Hugh Jackman has nuts on his neck at one point. It's very silly. 7 out of 10. Next, Ricky Stenicki. This was the second time I watched this movie. Because I didn't really get it the first time. So you got three dudes who basically got in trouble when they were kids, blamed it on this kid who doesn't exist, and they've been using that as their whole lives. Now they're married, they're about to have kids, and the whole cat's about to get out of the bag. So they hire this drunk loser dude to basically play Ricky Stenicki, and that's where you got John Cena. It's actually really funny because the character of Ricky Stenicki is a ridiculously written character. It's fun. It's like a tale of brotherhood and lying and camaraderie and relationships, and it's pretty silly. Andrew Santino and Tremaine Fowler are very silly. I liked it. Zac Efron. 8 out of 10. Next up, Hidden Figures. Hidden Figures. Wonderful film about the original lunar launch back in the 60s. Coming up with the algorithm to basically get our rockets into space. Was written by African American women. Not something that you're primarily taught in school. And you see kind of the story of the struggles they face, even just being like in the building, like amongst the whole white versus black segregation problems they're going through at the time, and surpassing all these obstacles to be able to still achieve success in the space race. So awesome. Loved it. 9.5 out of 10. Also, we never actually went to the moon, but I do think we went to space. So shouts out to these ladies. Next up, Capone. Capone is a Tom Brady film where he plays like a 80-year-old Al Capone, and the whole movie he's like it's really crazy. A bunch of weird flashbacks. It was kind of hard to follow. I liked it. His wife smacks him when he's like 80, and you're like, oh, but then you realize what he did to her, and you're like, yeah, it's not so bad. 7.5. It's all right. Next up, The Man from Toronto. There's like apparently every city has like a super fan, and I guess this one's from Toronto. Pretty sure it's Woody Harrelson, and he's just like and yeah, and then it's all right. It's not great. 7 out of 10. Next up, The Beekeeper. Jason Statham plays a beekeeper, and he's got bees. He loves it. No, but he really is a beekeeper at the beginning. He works with this old lady, and he's like, oh, you done it now. And so he just goes off and goes nuts. And they're like, he was a beekeeper? And you're like, what's that? It's pretty much The Man from Toronto, but they're beekeepers. Like every city's got a beekeeper. It's really stupid. It was fun to watch. So I love Jason Statham. I can't not watch him. 7.5 out of 10. Next up, You're Cordially Invited. That was a very, very silly film. You're Cordially Invited. Will Ferrell and who is it? Reese Witherspoon, I want to say. Basically, these two families book this tiny little wedding venue for a wedding next year. One's for like their son, one's for the other one's daughter, and they both get there and they're like, oh, it's overbooked, whoa. And so instead of working together and just having two weddings, it's just like these two people trying to sabotage each other's wedding, and it's pretty awful, but it's fun. It's Will Ferrell. I like Will Ferrell a lot, and that was fun to watch. So it got a 7. It wasn't great, but it was tolerable. Next up, Wild Card. What the hell is that about? I totally forgot. I'm just thinking of Always Sunny. I cut the brakes. Wild card, bitches. I actually, hold on, wait, what is the? Hold on, let's find out. I forgot the Wild Card movie. Just see what this says. Wild Card 2015. It's Jason Statham again. Yes, okay. So Jason Statham, he lives in Vegas, and he's like a bodyguard for people. He's a bodyguard for like rich people, and he's just waiting until he 500,000, and he's gonna go to Tahiti, 100,000 a year. Good for your plan, and he's kind of like a dark Australian kind of. I just realized, like his voice is like it's kind of like me a little bit, but it's not. I guess British and Australian are pretty close. That's totally unrelated. Anyway, he is his bodyguard dude, and at one point, I'm gonna give away part of the film here. Spoiler alert. He's playing blackjack, and he gets like all the money, and then he's like, "What if I bet it again?" And if you've seen South Park, you know it's about to go down. So that was pretty fun to watch. I gave it a 7.5 at the time. So all those movies are, yes, all these action ones are kind of 7.5. And then we got some more. Let's see, we got Long Legs. Now Long Legs was Cage film. It's pretty weird. It's very, very strange. It's about like like something happens in the family and all the members end up dead, but there's no the guy. And then by the end of it, you kind of realize like what's going on, and it was a very unsettling ending where you're like, oh, I know what's about to happen, and they don't show like all of it, but it was, ooh, this is not good. So it was fun. It was kind of geeky. I liked it. I'm gonna also go 7.5 on Long Legs. Next up, The Monkey. The Monkey. It's a adaptation from a Stephen King short story about this monkey where when you pull the string and it plays the sound, somebody dies. It's never the person who pulls the string. It's always just like somebody at random. And a lot of some very unfortunate, untimely endings in this film. It's very spooky. I liked it, and I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Next up, Extreme Movie. I did a comedy show at a record store about 3 weeks ago, and I found a copy of this movie called Extreme Movie. Now, I've never heard of this film before. I thought it was going to be like disaster movie or, scary movie. Just like one of those pair of films that kind of made fun of all the things at the time. Now, this was maybe one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. It was kind of stacked compared to what I witnessed in the film. It's one of those movies you watch and you're like, how did this get greenlit? Like, someone paid millions of dollars to make this? That's actually, like, insane. And so, there's a scene, for instance, with Michael Cera, and he's in a chat room with this girl, and she's like, I want you to, like, role play sexually assaulting me. He's like, okay, and then he does it on the internet, and then basically she's like, here's my address, be here tomorrow, take me by force. And it's like, that's crazy. But he shows up, like, a young, pre-Superbad Michael Cera shows, it's like, instead of going to the lady's house on the bottom, he goes to the old lady's house top, because she had an 18 on her door. When she closed it, the one fell off. Like, I saw all this coming. And so he goes to the door, and she opens it, and he's like, I'm here for the rape. It's like, she just beats the shit out of him, and then he falls down the stairs, and the hot girl opens the door, like, I'm not even into it anymore. It's very odd, and I gave it a 3 out of 10. That was being very generous. It was fun. I feel like on mushrooms, that movie would clap. Let's see what we got. Next up, The Voices. The Voices. I don't remember anything about that. Hold on. Let's find out. A movie. The Voices movie. Let's see this. Ryan Reynolds. Oh yeah. So I forget it's a Ryan Reynolds like comedy horror where he's like a schizo and he's supposed to take this medicine, but he doesn't. And then when he doesn't, he can talk to his cat and his dog. And his cat is Scottish for some reason, which is really fun. His dog on the team. I think he starts. Yeah, it's all coming back to me now. Like starts murdering people. Like the more people that figure it out, he like murders them. But then their heads are in the fridge, and in his head he can talk to them and stuff. And it's really funny because they're like, I don't mind that you killed me, it's all right. I like being in the fridge. It's rather chilly though. Mind if I have a sweater? Like they're British for some reason he's not British and he's with a bunch of British people. Is it great? No, it's okay. It's cool. It reminded me of like the Cable Guy, kinda. Just kind of like a psycho dude on his own. Kind of meets everyone. Just comes to this big giant thing at the end. So I gave that a 6 out of 10. Now, wow, I really haven't made a podcast in a while. This next one's going to make me realize that. So King of the Hill Season 14 premiered. And it was damn near fantastic. Flantastic even. I loved it. 9.9 without any description. The reason it's not a 10 is there is an episode where... How do I put this? While Peggy and Hank are in Saudi Arabia for a couple years, Bill meets the new neighbor, who's a black guy, and he becomes friends with him. So the guy invites him to his local barber shop, which I guess is on the north side of Harlem, and he tells all these stories about his wonderful wife, Peggy, and his insufferable, depressed, fat neighbor, Hank. And so finally Hank and Peggy get back, and Hank and everyone else think that Bill brings up his new friends, that he's just full of it. So he follows him one day to this barber shop and realizes he does have a lot of friends. They're just black people. And, Bill is like, hey, you gotta come meet all my friends, Hank. And they're like, oh, wow, how's your insufferable depression going, Hank? And he's, my insufferable depression? They're like bringing up his suicidal tendencies, his weakness, his agoraphobia, and then Hank loses it when he realizes that he's photoshopped pictures of Peggy onto some trollop, as Hank put it, and convinced everyone there that's his wife. So Hank tells Bill, you gotta come clean, man, or I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. And so he's like, alright, you got it. And he tells the barbershop that Peggy died. And so Bill says, and they're like, no, that's awful. So everyone in the black community, or apparently like all 17 of them, go over to Bill's house, and they're mourning. They're mourning the loss of his wife, Peggy, with him. Now Peggy, as a narcissist, walks over there to confront the whole operation, and then hears the testimony that Bill is giving this crowd. And she's like, oh, that's flattering, because I would never actually do those things, but I love the way these people think about me. Excuse me. So she lets it go. Doesn't say anything. And that means that the Hill family is so, at least Peggy, she's so confident she will never run into any of those people ever again, that she's willing to let them think she all died. She lives in the same town. Like, they're not going to see you at the grocery store. That's why it's a 9.9, not a 10. It was perfect. Also, rest in peace to Dale and Redcorn. Dale died of, regular human conditions. John Redcorn was really and viciously murdered for being gay. Now, that's fucked up. Like, I don't care how you live your life, dude, but why would you care about somebody else's so much that you would like do that to somebody. It's sick. Humanity has this sickness, and we need it now more than ever because it's almost incomprehensible to deal with some of what's going on in the world right now. There's so many things happening at once. And stick to your guns and stay faithful and pray. Love your neighbor. I love you guys. Just in case anything crazy happens tomorrow or the next day. Like, thanks for watching all my little YouTube videos and stuff. And, you know, appreciate you taking check out my voice. It means a lot. Alright, got one more movie. Game Over, man. Oh, wait, I got two more movies. Do the next one after. So Game Over, Man is from the dudes from Workaholics. They made a movie about them being three waiters. They just went full Die Hard style. Also with a mixture of like Tucker and Dale versus you. And it's pretty fun. I liked it. I laughed a lot. Cackled a few times. I recommend it. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Or a 4 out of 5 if you want to go down to the Roger Ebert scale. Use the common denominator of 5. I appreciate you. Alright, and then my last review, before we part ways temporarily, is the War of the Worlds Amazon edition, featuring Ice Cube. The tagline to the film reads, "It's worse than you think." Now, I watched the whole thing. It's basically a giant Zoom call. I'm not sure Ice Cube ever left the room. There are several moments where his glasses reflect a plain green screen, despite the fact that he's not looking at that. Make an entire Amazon purchase from searching the item to adding it to your cart to confirming the delivery address to clicking submit. It's almost unbearable. I would guarantee rip a couple of mushrooms. That is now a Stanley Kubrick level film. I watched this over. So it gets a 2 just for the fact it exists. And I did make it end. I didn't turn it off like, oh, this is like... It gave you some kind of a structure to follow. It was terrible, but I mean, it was something. So good go. And oh man, that's yeah, that's about it. I finally got through these movies. I've been staring at the note thing forever. I can't believe I put off podcasting for a month. Thank you so much for dealing with the lack of episodes, and I want to thank you so much for being here and for supporting me. You know, I appreciate every one of you guys and girls very much. My mom hasn't talked to me in like over a month now, so that sucks. But working on it one day at a time, and just know that I care about you and I appreciate you tuning in and watching these little videos and stuff. And that's a plane going on. So how about one more little cheers? You're good people. Stay that way. Treat your neighbors kindly and love one another. Go give hugs to your relatives. And thank you to everybody that participated in the live chat today. Someone said congrats on the bikes for the kids, man. Thanks, man. I got my first one, so we'll be giving that away very soon. Videos dropping. I managed to film 2 drum covers before I pawned the kit, so those are coming out soon. I've got a roast battle this Wednesday, the 17th, at the Comedy Store in La Jolla. You can get those tickets online. I got a show coming up October 20th at U31 in North Park. and I'll be working on comedy stuff in the meantime, and other projects and whatnot. So stay tuned, and thank you very much for watching episode 104 of the Galactic Seabass channel. Sunday, September 14th, 2025. My name is Sebastian Seabassler, and once again, rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. I'd like to have a moment of silence before we part ways. Come on, man. You might have been our generation's Martin Luther King, so that's crazy. Rest in peace. May God be with your family, your children, and yeah, there's lots of insufferable events around the world right now, and if I had to name every single one of them, it would take a long time to end this episode. So I hope that people can do it, whatever it is within the parameters of life they consider possible to help achieve a more peaceful existence. And with that being said, I love you. Thanks for tuning into the Galactic Seabass channel. My name is Sebastian. Rock and roll. And transmit.